Reading FC's decline has been relentless, and they are teetering on the edge of expulsion from the EFL. But I want to take this once great club back to the dizzy heights it once was, all while using the Moneyball method. It's going to take smart transfers and working on a shoestring budget, something I have mastered on Football Manager. So join me as we resurrect Reading Football Club back to the top of English football here in a Moneyball Rebuild on FM24. Now, the two most important things throughout this rebuild is going to be using data to find transfers and using some of the fantastic youngsters that are already at this Reading squad. Now, the data side of things and using the Moneyball methods is going to come in all of the transfer windows, and I am splitting this down into a 3-part series so I can go in depth on Moneyball and how I'm really going to rebuild Reading back to Premier League and potentially Champions League winners. Now, hopefully, some of these players are going to stick around throughout that journey as well. Youngsters like Boyd Beecroft, Michael Strickland, and Jack Senga and Goyi could all be here till the very end. But there is a few players that I really think have a real chance at becoming our standout players. Number one being Kanaya Boyce Clark, a 20-year-old Jamaican goalkeeper who I am keeping as our starting goalkeeper for this first season. And I think for the future as well. This guy is 6'3", has decent area reach and jumping reach, but as a goalkeeper to kick things off, he is really well-rounded, but also has high potential, potentially championship standard. No, I think that's a lie. I have managed Reading before, and if you were one of the people that watched us back on stream on Twitch a few years ago, you will know that I managed Reading and I had Kanaya Boyce Clark as our starting goalkeeper as I took Reading to the Premier League, and that was over a year ago. So I know this guy can be a real talent. I'm going to turn to him in this rebuild as well. And the other man who stole the show in that series was Kelvin Ebenation. This guy is a 20-year-old striker with okay stats. We're not going to blow it out of the proportion here. This guy is not a world beater, but for League One and the Championship, this guy could be our starting striker. The game rates him as a League 2 player. This guy, I know, however, is much better than that. I think we took over when Reading were bottom of League One last season, and we made this guy like a 28 goal scoring striker. We got playoffs in that very season, and this guy was the sole reason for that. So once again, Big Kelvin will be in this team for hopefully a few seasons in this rebuild. And then for the rest of the squads, there's a lot of talent in here. Amadou Mbenge, just 21 years of age. Michael Craig is just 20 as a young Scotsman in DM. He has been a fantastic wonder kid in recent years to sign from Tottenham, talking FM 2021. Now at Reading and has been since 2022 and looks like a real talent. Now for this actual Reading team, I have set us up in a 4-2-3-1 system, which is probably going to change as we go through the rebuild. But my initial thing here with Reading is to get us up into the Championship and get us up into the Premier League as quick as possible. That is where the money is, and that is how we fix Reading. And the financial situation of Reading on FM isn't nowhere near as bad as it is in real life. The fact that Reading are on the edge of expulsion from the EFL, potentially relegated down to who knows where. Look at a team like Bury, happened to in the last 5 years. Absolutely devastating. As someone which has got a bit of a connection through content through Reading, in terms of using them as a stream save, which is one of my highlights of my content journey. And then this rebuild, which I think is going to be so enjoyable. And I think you guys are going to love it as well. So smash an early like button as well. As someone that's got that bit of a connection to them, it's heartbreaking to see a club go through this, and I cannot even fathom what it's like as a fan either. So my heart goes out to everyone at Reading FC and the fans. I just hope it gets sorted. I know it's now been extended to, I believe, the 24th of April, and hopefully Reading are absolutely okay and they have been sold. Debt-wise here on FM, £77 million in the bank in terms of debt, which is pretty rough, and just £1 million in overall balance. Our transfer budget, we can only ever have 10% of any sale. So if we do make a big sale, we aren't going to get anything in the money side of things. And that's something that's happened realistically in real life with Tyler Bindon as well. He has moved to Nottingham Forest in real life, I believe, in the January transfer window just gone. And I know Reading fans were in complete uproar because they got like a stupidly low fee for him. And there is real potential. This guy could go on to be a top tier Premier League centre-back. He looks really, really good, has a great build and height on him, really fit, good speed, good consistency on FM as well. And at 18, to be able to physically compete in League One is a real talent. So I know it's hard for a club to see a star player like that go, but Yeah, a real shame. Now, Reading currently in real life are sitting just outside of the playoffs as I record this. So for this season in FM, I am looking to at least make the playoffs. In our season preview, we are predicting 17th. If you've ever watched me on a rebuild before and you know the ability of a 4-2-3-1, we're probably going to get playoff football, if not win the league. So don't be surprised if that is the case. But I have made this tactic specifically for Reading, and I have gone for complete overpowered, especially for League One football. Centre-backs on defend, wing-backs on attack, inside forwards on support, advanced forward, attack midfielder, 2 DMs on support. I have gone very meta and very overpowered. I've not got any sort of individual instructions on. We are set to an attacking mentality, playing quick football down the wings, run defence, be expressive, low crosses, counter press, roll it out, higher tempo, higher line. I have gone very, very meta. And the whole point of doing a Moneyball rebuild is to get the best out of every single situation you can without spending a lot of finances. And if that means we're going to use youngsters or players which break the metrics in terms of signings without having to use a ridiculously, different tactic, we just have to be meta. And that is what we'll do. And hopefully we'll take Reading right to the very top in what is going to be most likely a 3-part series. So again, if you are excited, make sure you're liking the video and also subscribe to the channel, because around 70% of you that are watching right now are not subscribed. And I don't know what you're doing, so hit that subscribe button. It will help me out massively, and it'll help massively you as well, as we give loads of tips, and you will love the rebuilds on this channel. Now let's get straight going though. We haven't got any transfers to do. I've shown you some of the Wonder Kids. I've shown you the tactic, but now it's time to show you the results. And this first season in League One, I'm hoping it's going to be a bit of a doddle. Now, we know we have made a very meta tactic here on Football Manager in the hope of flying through League One and getting into the money bags of the Championship and the Premier League as quick as possible. But I don't think I expected it to be this quick. And this is the first game of the season we really showed our dominance. 2 low crosses into the box. Teams just couldn't compete with what we have built. The first goal coming from Kamara on the left wing. The second from Harvey Nibbs in the cam role. The third, Clark down the left-hand side. The wing-backs on attack really being dangerous. Having Nibbs in the box once again for 3-0. And a fourth coming from a corner. Kelvin Ebenasham at the front stick, like he did so much in that Twitch save, screwing with his head in an absolutely dominating 4-0 victory to kick the season off. And to be honest, we never looked back from there. Our form, especially to kick off this season, was outrageous. And the fun thing was goals from a whole bunch of different players. Someone that I haven't touched on just yet, Basil Tuma, a supremely pacey winger, had been influential from the start, and someone that I'm going to show you in just a little bit. Harvey Nibbs also grabbed a bunch of goals in a winning streak in September, winning every single game, conceding just 1 goal and winning many by just the 1 as well. October, a little bit more ropey, 3 wins and 3 losses, but November again had fantastic form. I don't think I need to show you the second half of the season, because you know just how well we have done from that first 4 months. And well, maybe you didn't actually expect this. We have gone Centurion in League One for season number 1. Now, I do think that is going to be the easiest season in the entire rebuild. As mentioned, Reading are just outside the playoffs in real life. We are playing Football Manager. We are using quite better tactics, and we have a lot of players which do fit the Football Manager match engine quite heavily. Looking through some of our average ratings, Andy Yadom at right back, 17 assists in a 7.26 average rating is outrageous. Harvey Nibbs, 21 goal contributions, a 7.08. Tyler Bindon, a potential Premier League level centre-back on loan here at the club, 5 goals, 7 assists is brilliant. John Clark at left back, great young player, 9 assists as well. Kem Campbell also on loan, 24 goal contributions. Adriana Kinde with 16. Mamdi Kamara with 16. Basil Tuma with 11 goals and 3 assists. This guy is a Maltese international with fantastic pace, and his stats look really bad. But we know pace is so important on FM, and being a Moneyball rebuild and looking to extract as much as we can with as little value as we can, that is something I'm certainly going to be concentrating on when looking at buying players. Whether that's the right thing to do or not in people's eyes, we are looking to get the best out of a bad situation. Our striker, Kelvin Ebenasham, grabbed 21 goal contributions as a 21-year-old striker in 45 games. Grabbed a 6.79 average rating, so didn't excel, didn't absolutely dominate, but done what he had to do and got Reading promoted to the Championship, which is massive. Goalkeeper-wise, Kanaya Boyce Clark, a 7.03. first full season, 47 games, he did just 51. Really impressive from him, and really impresses with his stats growth as well. If we do check the progress in terms of attributes of all time, already a few stats going up by 1 in just a season is great. At 21 years of age for a goalkeeper, he has got a long way to go, but a long time to grow as well. And I really could sit here for hours and go through each individual player, because I was so impressed by this first season's Reading squad. Michael Strickland, 9 games played. Tivoge Rusheva as a right back, 27. Michael Craig as our starting DM, 36 starts, 30 of the bench, a 6.9, 4 assists and a goal. He is unhappy because he wants a brand new deal, because another player that is certainly progressing, and I think is someone that could come all the way to the Premier League with us. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. Amadou Mbenge, another one, again, I believe potential for Premier League football in him. Mamdi Kamara, 5-star Bissau Guinean winger with decent speed, nothing electric, but overall some pretty decent stats, especially here in League One. Might struggle in the Championship, doesn't scream out a Championship quality player to me, but we shall see, mainly due to his pace not quite being at the level. We have Lewis Wing here in DM at 28, being the real sort of captain holder in that DM role. I don't actually think he is the captain, he's not, but that real strong central midfielder in there next to Michael Craig is really important. Yiadom with the right back role as well, John Clark the left back role. Overall, just very impressive. And one of the best things here at Reading is the youth academy as well. We have had some superstars come through straight away, and some players which are here in real life. Jeray Jones, a 5-star youngster in the wing position. Kian Coke Miles Smith is a 5-star wonder kid in the left wing position. Dennis Bossman, what a name this is for a striker. He is a 5-star wonder kid as well. Abraham Kanu, a 5-star wonder kid centre back. And a player here that's come through the youth academy in David Letenkalume from Mauritius. 20 determination in the cam role. Okay, we'll take him on board. We'll see what he can do. Probably a Mauritian international within the next 12 months with ridiculous determination, flair and aggression. Great first touch, good finishing, good free kick taking. Very slow, but at 16, this guy could grow into being an absolute superstar, and I'm buzzing to have got him in the first season here in this rebuild as well. And finally, Jokul Anderson, who's a bit more older, a bit more experienced, 22 years of age in that goalkeeping position. Now, financially, that season has worked pretty well for us. It has cleared all of our debt. I don't quite know how, to be honest. We haven't exactly raised loads of money. There's no editor enabled. I've not done any shenanigans. But straight away, the debt is gone. I'm not sure if we've had a new owner come in. In fact, I do think that is exactly what has happened, as Ron Martin is the new chairman as of 2024. So we have had an overtake, which is good. No more Die Young at the club, I think, is something that all Reading fans will be happy to see the back with, which is great to see. So financially, we're not going to have the constraints that Reading have got in real life, but I'm going to put us under them constraints anyway. I'm not going to sign a single player in all 3 episodes of this rebuild over £10 million. We're using the Moneyball methods. If you don't know how to do them, I've got a full video explaining how to export the files, how to get the folder, etc. For now, though, I'm going to get my data analysis head on, my Moneyball head on, and I'm going to go and try and find some players to improve this Reading squad. We have the tactic, we have the youngsters, but this season is no hiding place. 2 very important young players for us, and some aging players as well in Yeardor at 32. So some players to improve on, and let's see what we can find in the market. Now, the first signing I want to touch on is the one I made in this right wing position. Being an inside forward as a creative is something we really were struggling for in that first season. And I didn't look any further than Jack Moylan. I didn't have to look too far, to be honest. I only looked to Lincoln in the same league as us in League One for this signing, because look at this guy's data stats. In terms of a midfielder, he was the 90th percentile of dribbles made, 99th percentile of expected assists per 90, 99th percentile of open play key passes, 99th percentile of chances created per 90. He is a 22-year-old right mid or right attacking midfielder, 6 foot tall, so a good height in him as well, from Lincoln, valued between 80 and 800,000 pounds. Played just 10 games, but scored 2 goals, got 4 assists, average a 7.06 rating. And I think there is something to be seen here. He's played hardly any games, but when he has played, he has been fantastic. And with that sort of value as a championship signing, I didn't really look any further. Now, when looking at him on FM, it isn't your go-to average signing. His stats aren't screaming out that he's going to be fantastic, but what he has done in the game so far has been nothing short of brilliant. He was signed for 50k from Lincoln from Shelbourne, where he grabbed 15 goals in 36 games as well. We signed him for just £525,000. He, of course, had consistency to him as well. He is Irish, so did not need any sort of ESC slot, which is so helpful, especially in England, something that doesn't get spoken about in Moneyball enough, and something we are certainly going to run into in this rebuild is them ESC slots. So having someone homegrown, or at least able to get an ESC slot from Ireland, was so important. And that's why we're looking at our striker position, and when you see these data stats, there's one reason I didn't look any further than the man, the myth, the FM legend, Ricky Jade Jones. Now, not only is this guy game-breakingly good for Football Manager with 19 pace and 18 acceleration, he absolutely destroyed the competition in terms of his attacking percentile statistics. 97th percentile of goals per 90, 42 games, 23 goals in League One. And that's something I simply could not turn down. We are looking for a fox in the box, a striker that can spread the defense, and Ricky J. Jones is going to do exactly that. Now, there is something that gives me quite a big red flag on him, and that is his complete lack of consistency. That is something we're going to have to see if it does pay dividends. It wasn't a crazy signing. He cost us just £900,000, but grabbing 17 goals and 4 assists in the league we were just in, the same as Kelvin Abanation for just 800k, to look a bit of a no-brainer. And given the fact he's got 19 pace and 18 acceleration, I just couldn't turn it down. He looked way too good and way too game-breaking to turn our eyes up on. Now, my final position I was looking to improve in the starting 11 was this left wing position. Now, this signing, he doesn't break the metrics in terms of data. In fact, I think it's safe to say he looks quite average, and that's something that I was kind of looking for, someone which was really well-rounded in pretty much every single stat. Going forward, he was brilliant. In terms of his midfield and creativity, he was really good as well. And he was just 20 years of age, a Japanese winger called Yosuke Furukawa, coming in from Górnik in Poland, where he was actually on loan from his home club, Iwata, where he grabbed a 7.18 average rating, then went back to Iwata for 2 games and grabbed 4 assists and a 7.8. So for £1.5 million, Yosuke comes into the club as our best player by far. 4.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, an instant value of £11.5 million, and was found directly from using the Moneyball scouting method. Now, as mentioned, his stats in terms of data weren't game-breakingly good. They weren't immediately showing me that I had to go and sign him. But when doing a full scout report on him, when looking into his actual stats in Poland and going back to Japan, seeing what a creative genius he was, and being the fact that there is clearly a lot of market value in there, I couldn't look any further. He would have to allocate him an ESC slot, one of 2 we have done in this transfer window, but due to these stats and that value, and already being a 5-star player, I think we have massively improved the attacking outlet of this team in just one transfer window. And the best thing is they're 22, 21, and 20. Now, I'm not just looking at youngsters in this rebuild. I am mainly looking at their Moneyball stats. But when looking at a young player for potential sell-on value in the future, that's one of the most important things to me. I'm not going to sign anyone that doesn't have any potential sell-on value. I don't really look past the age of 30, 31. And if I'm going to bring them in, I'm not going to go too crazy on wages either. They really need to impress me and look much better than a youngster. I think that's just basic knowledge with signing anyone in real life, and especially in Moneyball, especially at a club like Reading. That is something we really need to concentrate on. My next signing was actually from the Welsh division. As a backup centre-back, we signed Josh Pask. Now, this one, again, a bit of a random one. Defensively, his stats are pretty good. He grabbed a 7.28 average rating, but mainly his value of between 4.5 to 14k is why we went out and signed him. It's got to be said, I very rarely sign players from TNS, purely because they are the best team in Wales by far. But as a 4th choice centre-back coming in for just 4.2 thousand, who just grabbed a 7.36 average rating, has experience in the English leagues as well, I thought it was just a bit of a no-brainer. He's going to be a really good 4th choice centre-back for us, probably hardly ever going to play, and really had no financial impact on us whatsoever. So pretty much a very clever piece of business. And my final signing is a very similar one. It's Oscar Krusnell coming in from Norway, in particular Haugesund, and this guy is a creative genius but very strong defensive attacking fullback, and he cost us just £37,500. Now again, allocating him an ESC slot was something that was necessary. He is a 3-star player, potential to be championship quality, very well-rounded stats and being consistent. Can also fill in at centre back if needed, being 6'2", having very good defensive stats, and was quite a smart signing. We spent over £3 million this summer, something that is quite difficult in Moneyball Rebuilds, especially in the lower regions of England, is keeping our outgoings higher than our incomings. This is something which is certainly going to switch, however, as we reach the top of the Championship, the Premier League. We're probably going to sell over like £150 million in some windows and spend around 20. So don't worry, financially we will get to a point where it makes a lot of sense. But for now, I think we've done fantastic business. 5 signings, £3 million. The players that have left the club are the likes of Jaden Wareham, Charlie Wellens, Harley Dean, Jockel Anderson, and Joel Pereira. I believe there was some players which are also being released. No, there's not actually. So we're all good in that front. The squad then is as followed in terms of our high potential players. For Karawa, Jerry Jones, Kian Koch, Miles Smith, Dennis Bossman, and Abraham Kanu all come in to the team, as does David Lekalume from the Mauritius youngster as a rotational winger slash central attacking midfielder. Our starting lineup is Kanaya Boyce, Yayadom Clark, Jarrell Dorset, and Mbenge making up our defensive partnership, with Lewis Wing and Michael Craig keeping it in DM. Them two were so good last season. Hopefully they'll do the same this year. Our two new wingers, of course, Yusuke Furukawa and Jack Moylan. In the cam role, Harvey Nibbs. And up front, Ricky Jade Jones. Now, this season in the Championship, it is purely about safety. We are the favourites to get relegated in 250 to 1. I'd be buzzing to finish 21st and finish safe. We have spent just £3 million. We have brought in a lot of players from England, as in Jack Moylan and Ricky J. Jones. We have taken risks on a young Japanese left winger and brought in 2 older experienced heads. Other than that, we're bringing through youth and really being frugal with our money. So we've not spent too much. We've not changed the team too much. And I think it's just about consistency and really hoping this tactic carries us to Championship safety. And for this season in the Championship, we really proved once again what a joy to watch we were going to be in this season, with our 3 starting signings really showing themselves to be superstars. The first goal coming from Jack Moylan, the second coming from Jarrell Dorset. Now this was an away game against Coventry and was never going to be easy. Coventry pegged us back to make it 2-1 thanks to a near post header, and grabbed the second to level this game up as well. Van Evik, one of my favourite right backs on this game, finds Sakamoto in the box to level the game up. But our quality really started to shine through, and a year done finding Jack Moylan using that pace to burst into the box and find Ricky J. Jones a deflected shot, and the instincts of Yosuke Furukawa to finish home to make it 3-2. Once again, building down the wings, Jack Clark gets to the byline, whips it in. Ricky J. Jones, with that speed, that little acceleration step, heads home for 4-2. And the 5th and final goal, Harvey Nibbs beating his man, setting it back to Yedom into Michael Craig, the youngster we have such high hopes for, scores a screamer from 35 yards into the top corner in a dominating 5-2 victory away from home. And just look at them stats. We really imposed ourselves. We really were the dominant side. And I think it's safe to say our signings so far have made a great impact. Yusuke Furukawa, for example, in this season had 19 goal contributions in 44 games, got a 6.86 average rating, and in my opinion was one of the best signings we could have made. I say that because this guy was a third of the price and done the exact same with 19 goal contributions as well, grabbing a 6.89 average rating. Jack Moylan on that right hand side, the signing from Lincoln, has been a great piece of business. Now, I wish the same could be said about this man. Ricky J. Jones, once the hero of Manny on YouTube, now's a bit of a flop. 8 goals, 1 assist in 37 games, and that inconsistency has really hampered him. If we do check out his form in terms of his stats, you can see he just was an absolute stinker. Come on, sometimes was pulled off in the 45th in the 55th, rating-wise 6'3", 6'8", 6'6", 6'7", 6'4", 6'4", 6'3", 6'5", 6'2", 6'1", and then would grab a 7'7" with a goal, 6'2", 6'3", 6'6". So inconsistent. Never really found that goal scoring form. And I think is probably our first L signing of the rebuild, but the other two are both definitely W's. As for Oscar Kronsel, who cost us just £40,000, who got 5 goal contributions at 6.89 and still has a value of between 650 and 1.6 million pounds, which would be over a 1,000, potentially a 3,000 transfer increase if we were to sell him. So a very good piece of business. And for Josh Pass to come in from TNS for £4,500, play 28 games and grab a goal for 6.76 as our fourth choice centre back is exactly what we were looking for. He hasn't got a crazy value, but he has served a fantastic job for this season and probably will for the next couple of years as well. Just being a very steady pair of hands to come into that centre-back role and not really make too many mistakes. Now this season was, to be honest, much better than I ever expected. We were heavily favourites to come last in the Championship this season, but ended up finishing in 11th place in the top half of the Championship. 16 goal wins, 15 draws, 15 losses, a 10 goal difference on 63 points. In terms of our stats, we weren't the person who scored the most, but offensively, we were solid. 56 conceded over an entire season as a newly promoted club is pretty fantastic. Especially when looking at things financially, where we are the lowest club in salary per annum on just £8.85 million, comparing that to Fulham, who are on £68 million, so only 10 times more spending per money. In terms of our net transfer, £983,000 the positive is 13th place, and we've come up from League One to the Championship. So for me, that is really impressive, and I'm really proud of what we have done in this season. Our top goal scorer this season, by no surprise, is Yasuke Furukawa and Jack Moylan, both on 13 apiece. Ricky J. Jones and Harvey Nibbs are up next, and sadly then followed by Kelvin Ebenasham. Seems like he's had a bit of a downgrade since when I used him on stream last year, scoring just 6 goals in 39 appearances. Certainly has had a bit of a drop off. This guy was an absolute bagsman and carried me to the Premier League. I fell in love with him. Sadly, that's not the case this time. Mauritian Cam David has come through with 5 goal contributions at 17. I am so impressed. He has a ridiculous value already, and he is going to be a world star. If he stays at the club, we have a real gem in our hands. And the same can be said for Shaddai Daniel as well, a 5-star wonder kid that has also come through the academy. The Reading Academy system is doing bits. 16 determination, great speed, good technicals. Just played 27 games in the under-18s, 20 goals, 6 assists, a 7.48 average rating. Someone to certainly keep an eye on. In terms of the facilities, we have 1.5-star in youth recruitment, 3.5-star in youth facilities, and 4-star training facilities. So we're going to try and improve this youth recruitment, and eventually the whole club as a whole will grow much, much more. Now, one thing I didn't actually realise about Reading, as we have never won a major trophy. 2 championships, 3 League Ones and League Two, but never winning an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup, any European competition, or of course a Premier League is something I'm going to hope to tick off every single one of them in this 3-part series. But for now, our main goal is getting back to the Premier League. And I think we have managed to bring Reading back to some level of decency. The club sale, so there is no doubt in the club, is a massive thing. And building a squad which is ready to fight for the badge and really put Reading first is something which I am concentrating on building. And I think for the next transfer window, that is something I'm going to look into again. We haven't got much money to spend, £3 million, pretty high on the wages already. So around £1.7 million, potentially looking at making a few sales. There is some decent value in this squad. Michael Craig has got over £10 million worth of value. Lewis Wing at 29, also the same. Yasuke, I mean, £1.5 million. If we flip that into 10 straight away, I'm not going to say no. Amadou Mbenge, John Clark, Jarrell Dorset, and even Kanaya Boyce Clark, who again has been brilliant and it's progressing so well. 53 conceded in 40 is outrageously good. And again, on his progress in attributes of all time, now 2 seasons as our starting goalkeeper, is improving so quickly. And I am so impressed. At 22, I really think this guy could be our goalkeeper, potentially for the whole rebuild. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take. This guy could be retired by the time we win the Champions League or Premier League, I think is the end goal eventually. He could be retired by then. If not, I would love to do this whole thing with at least one player in the starting lineup from League One. I think Kanaya could be that guy we take with us. But for now, we have to turn our attention back to the transfer market and back to their Moneyball methods to find the next star for Reading. Now, last season was all about improving these two wing positions to get creativity into the middle. And this season, as we look to progress, it is the cam roles and the striker role I'm looking to improve. You can tell I'm very happy with the midfield base of Lewis Wing and Michael Craig. And in the defence, also very happy with what we have built. So we turn our attention to the striker that's going to score all of our goals. We needed a striker which had a ridiculous amount of shots, and his conversion rate was pretty good too, and we settled on Alexander Buxa. He ranked in the 99th percentile of shots on target per 90, with nearly 2 shots on target every single game per game, which is mental. Shots per 90 having 3.5 as well, so every other shot he is having on target. If not, he's at least testing the goalkeeper. Non-penalty XG in the 97th percentile as well, wins fouls, and also is a creative player in the 88th percentile for assists. Now, he is 6'2", so we know he's going to suit Football Manager. He's 22 years of age, 7 goals, 7 assists in 25 games. That's the sort of player I'm looking to sign up front. And when you pair that with the fact that he cost us just £525,000, I think we've got ourselves an absolute bargain. Now, he is another ESC slot, so something to keep an eye on. That is 3 out of 4 used, and the 4th I will be using on our second and final signing for this season. Now, he does lack that big match capability, but that's something I'm not too worried about. He is very well-rounded, 6'2", decent enough speed, shoots from distance, plays the backs to goal, and plays 1-2s. He's going to be the perfect hold-up striker, but with also the ability to finish as well. And I think for £525,000, while we are so low on the finances, that could be an absolute bargain. He's playing in the Under-21 Championship and scoring goals as well, which for me is a pretty good level. If he can score 7 goals in the Polish First Division as well at 21, the year before grabbing 8, I certainly think we have someone that could be a real bagsman and then go to that next step with us as well. Maybe not a Robert Lewandowski, as he is Polish, but Alexander Buxa is going to be the Reading number 9 that I think can take us to the Premier League. And they're looking in this central attacking midfielder role. We are looking for someone that can score goals and be a creative outlet. We have 2 inside forwards that they're going to need to link up with, and a striker also that's going to drop deep and link up with as well. And the player we have signed for that position is Besford Zanelli. Now, this guy looks really, really well-rounded. He does like big matches, and he has potential, in my opinion, to reach Premier League level. Last season is his first breakout year at IF Elfsborg, a 7.08 average rating, 2 assists in 11 games. But he's got good dribbling, good first touch, very well-rounded mentals for his age, good physicals, and again, as that height at 6'2", being a physical league like the Championship, these are all sorts of things you've got to look into. And I think he's the perfect signing. A very similar signing to Fukuwara on the left wing, where in terms of his data, he doesn't look like he's going to absolutely break the game, but his performance score sitting at 85 percentile, so 15 in the top, is really, really good because he cost us just £1 million in the end. Really well rounded in terms of his dribbling percentiles. Finishing wise, he takes a few shots, but not really going to be the guy to go and score 30 goals. He has only got 8 finishing. Defensively, good defensive pressures, good successful pressures as well. So he is a high-pressing central attacking midfielder. And being 22 and 6'2", I thought it was a really good signing and comes into that team. And I think he's an improvement on Harvey Nibbs as well. Now, something that we have gone for this season, once again, is bringing through the youth. You can see Abraham Kanu or Strickland is going to be our starting centre-back next to Jarrell Dorset. And Bengay and Clark keeping up them wing-back positions. And in terms of the youth on the bench, we've still got where are we? Charlie Savage is still here, Senna Ngoye, Mamdi Kamara, David Lekalume, Coke Miles Smith is back in the team as well after his loan spell, and Kelvin Ebenasham. I am looking at selling Ricky J. Jones. He's currently got bids on loan from Fleetwood, which I think is probably his level League One, to be honest. Harvey Nibbs is listed for sale as well. We do also have the likes of Basil Tuma and Shanae Daniel in the squad as well, but probably not going to be that big of impact players. Now, financially, that means we spent £1.7 million and only raised $425,000, and mainly that is of the sale of Andy Yayadom. Now, this guy was on some pretty hefty wages. He has been really good for us for 2 seasons, but when you're 33 years of age on around £10,000 a week, I think it's time to move move them on, especially in a Moneyball rebuild. And I was looking to replace him with Marko Vranjkovic, who was a right back from Croatia. But this is exactly what I mean about rebuilding in England using Moneyball. You can find these fantastic players. I mean, this guy is really good in terms of FM, really consistent, great speed in him, good crossing, good dribbling, but he has failed his ESC slot. So I've had to go ahead and cancel the deal. So my right back for this season is going to be Amadou Mbenge, with Abrafa being his backup. We're not going to go and break the budget. The way I actually do my scouting is I export everyone into this spreadsheet in the paste here bit, look through the percentiles, find different players, then look through the player profiles, and then I get like scouting going. And everyone that was on the list is in my shortlist for 3 months, and then I get scouting. If we were to look at the right back position, there really isn't many players which are screaming out to me that look... Oh, that's still in the players bit. Sorry, that's my fault. There's not really anyone here anyway that is screaming out to me that should be coming into the club. They're all okay. I mean, Alvis Yaznems is, again, not going to get a work permit. Marius Anderson, the same. None of them are screaming out to me other than, Ash Baker, who is Welsh, certainly get a work permit. But in terms of quality, I'd rather build through Kelvin Abrafa. And if we are looking in terms of the work permit, we can see if we put the work permit chance to likely, there is none. So I'm not going to go away from the Moneyball scouting method and try and sign someone. I'm going to bring someone up through the youth in Kelvin Abrafa and see what he can do as the backup to Mbenge. I mean, there is a high chance Mbenge goes into the centre-back role and Abrafa becomes our starting right wing-back. I wouldn't hate that. He has got good speed, not great going forward, but would certainly do a job. And if that's what's needed, that's what's needed. This season, of course, we are still in FA Cup, Carabao Cup. I haven't touched on them just yet. I believe both seasons we've got knocked out in the second round. I imagine we're still... we've actually jumped quite a lot. So we were 250 to 1 last season, now 50 to 1, which is level with the likes of Lincoln. But again, I'm looking for that mid-table position. Anywhere from the 16 to 1 range down to us, I'd be very, very happy. Outside the playoffs, and then next season, make the push to become a Premier League squad. Might have to spend a little bit more money, but still using the Moneyball scouting. But I think we can do it. The main difficulty is going to be these clubs that get relegated from the Premier League are just so good. And financially, they'll just spend so much money. I mean, looking at a club like Brentford, already spent £22.5 million. Marmoush is in the Championship. This is what I mean. This is what we are competing against. And that's only going to get harder as we go up into the Premier League as well. So make sure you are sticking around, because this is going to be an absolutely fantastic journey. And as mentioned, this is part 1 of a 3-part journey of turning Reading into Premier League winners using Moneyball. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel so you get every single video up in that subscriptions feed, and send that notification bell on as well. But let's get into the 3rd season and our 2nd in the Championship. Now, my goal for this season was very, very simple. Become a solidified mid-table Championship club. Well, in this game, we faced up against Crystal Palace, who were relegated from the Premier League a couple of seasons ago. And I think we showed we are looking to strive for much more than that, making it 2-0 in just 15 minutes. And on the break of half-time, Moylan grabbed his 2nd goal in this game to make it 3-0. Now, this is at home at the former Majewski Stadium, and we are a dominating club. Michael Craig loves to score screamers, another 35-yarder into the top corner. And to finish off this game is going to be Josh Pask, a long ball over the top. Ricky J. Jones, who is still at the club, finding Buxer in the box, being that 6'2" Polish demon we needed in there to finish home. A 5-0 victory against Crystal Palace. I think mid-table, we should be aiming higher than that. I think we're going to get this team into the playoffs. And our second half season form would say exactly that as well. Losing just 1 game in November, 1 game in December, 1 game in January, before a few different results in February, including a loss to Aston Villa, a loss to Brentford, and a loss away at Birmingham. But overall, we are a playoff side, and that is where we're going to be for this season. Now, in the semi-finals, we are facing up against West Bromwich Albion, and in the first leg, we managed to draw 1-1. John Egan grabbing the goal, and Amadou Mbenge making it 1-1 in this game. Overall, quite a boring one, but away from home, we certainly take that, because it means we come back to the former Majewski Stadium and make Reading playoff finalists for the most expensive game in football. And this really couldn't have gone any better, because this is one of the best games that you are ever going to see on Football Manager. Ricky J. Jones finding Bernat Zanelli, the first word we have said on him since his signing, but there's a lot more to say about him, especially in this game. West Brom, however, are going to level things up to make it 1-1, and in fact, are going to score 2 from set pieces as Swift finds Malumbi, back to Swift, beats his man, finds Malumbi into Sambi, to make it 2-1, and we were behind and chasing this game. But as mentioned, Zanelli, well, he's a bit of a superstar. And Mbenge whips it in, Zanelli in the box once again to level this game up at 3-3 on aggregate. Lewis Wing steps up from the spot and he makes it 4-3. And who else but Zanelli to get a hat-trick in a playoff semi-final for a 5-3 lead. That 6'2" height has come in so handy. Don't get me wrong, West Brom did try and fight back in the 84th minute. Swift found Josh Madger down that left wing. He cuts inside, he finishes home, but it wasn't enough. And Reading, well, we're playoff finalists, and I've got to say, I don't think we're ready for this at all. We are a mid-table club when we are overachieving. If we get promoted to the Premier League, we are going to really, really struggle for a lot of the next 4 or 5 seasons. And it's also going to scupper my plans in terms of this video. I was expecting 4 or 5 seasons and finish it once we get a promotion. But given the fact we're in the playoff final, we might have to do a season in the Premier League as well. And I say that with quite a lot of confidence because it's Birmingham that stand in our way. A club that came up with us last season, but I know we are better than. And Mbenge finds Ricky J. Jones, who has had a transformative season this year after not going out on loan to Fleetwood to grab the opening goal. But Birmingham are going to bounce back. Ndala finishes in off the post to make it 1-1. But then they got a red card, and it all fell for Birmingham. Charlie Savage on the ball finds Jack Moylan. What a signing he has been. He finds the top corner and gets Reading back to the Premier League. That game alone is worth over £100 million, so all financial restrictions on Reading from now on are gone. We are back to being a Premier League club. We are back to being super mega rich. And Reading fans, I think that is a massive dub. Now, we are, of course, going to go through and do a season in the Premier League in this first episode because we can't leave it on that. But I've got to touch on my transfer genius, Alexandra Buxa. 23 goals, 5 assists in 49 games, a 6.92 average rating. And he was just exactly what Ricky J. Jones wasn't last season. His consistency was outrageous. You can see here there's a spell of 5 games where he scored 3 goals and got 2 assists. He then went a bit of an unscoring spell, but we had then Ricky J. Jones to come on off the bench, and he really surprised me this season. 15 games, 20 off the bench, 5 goals, 8 assists, a 6.98 average rating. That is what we wanted from him. A much better rotational player, and he might stay around for the Premier League as well. But our real hero is the hat-trick scorer in the semi-finals, best for Zanelli. 15 goals, 5 assists, a 7 average rating. I saw something in him, same as for Kawara. I just knew he was going to be good enough. 2 assists in 11 games doesn't scream outrageous, but 7.08 in the top tier of Sweden. Coming into the championship, 11 goals, 4 assists in the league, with the physical stats he's got, being 6'2", quite strong, quite quick, with really strong technicals and mentals as well. I just had a feeling we had a star in our hands, and it looks exactly like that as well, as he has helped us get into the Premier League. And I am absolutely buzzing, to be honest. If we search this by average rating, there's a few players that really stood out from Reading. Amadou Mbenge, 16 goal contributions, taking us into the Premier League. Connor Boyce Clark as well, a 7.12 in the Championship. That's outrageous. To concede less than you play in a very, very basic 4-2-3-1. I am elated with that and very happy that he is still here. Lewis Wing as well, 9 goals, 5 assists. John Clark, 2 and 6. Michael Craig, 3 and 5. Awesome to see the top 5 taking us into the Premier League are actually at Reading in real life. And the likes of Best Forward Zanelli, Ricky J. Jones, Alexandra Buxa, Joss Pask, who actually played 34 games and grabbed a 6.89, despite having pretty awful ability, really performing in the match engine. And I've said this before with Moneyball Rebuild, sometimes you have to trust your gut instinct. When looking at a player, if they look like they're doing well in terms of the data, and you think they can transfer that into your squad, they very often will. 45 games played, a 6.89, giving he was a £4,000 signing from the Welsh division. I am so happy with that. I think we have done a fantastic job. And Jack Moylan as well, 14 goal contributions, taking us into the Premier League. And finally, Yosuke Fukuwara, not quite as good this year, 11 goal contributions, a 6.77, but being now the vice captain of the club, having a value of £11 million. I think still a brilliant piece of business with just a £1.7 million signing. Now, as mentioned, financially winning that game is going to do absolute wonders. It hasn't quite hit the bank just yet, but I assure you we're about to become very rich. There is no debt on the club whatsoever, and the best thing is the board are quite receptive to improving things in the facilities as well. So I'm hoping by the end of this rebuild, we're going to have like 5-star, potentially 5-star, 5-star in terms of youth facilities and training facilities, and that would be unbelievable because financially, we are still using the Moneyball methods. Despite the money we might have, I'm not interested. I am here to do a Moneyball rebuild. We have £37 million to spend. Big money in terms of wage budget, but we are not going to sign a single player worth over £10 million. So let's get into probably the most important season in this whole 3-part rebuild series, the Premier League campaign. Now, very quickly, I just want to touch on the fact that when you actually do export some of the data, if your players are looking to show up in the Moneyball search that you have, they will come up in the list as well. And interesting enough, the best cam we could find in this whole thing, not that I was looking to replace him, was Best for Zanelli. And you can see just the outrageous change we had here in terms of his attacking output being in our system. It really was a fantastic signing and a complete and utter game changer. Now, for this season, there was quite a few positions I think need improving if we are to be a solidified Premier League side. Mainly the defence, it has been very good. But the step up to this league, we can't be using Josh Parsk and Jarrell Dorset. So 2 new centre-backs are needed. For left-back, someone to try and match the output of Amadou Mbenge as an attacking left-back. And a left-winger as well. Due to Fukuwara's slight drop-off, I think someone could be signed in that position. And we'll start in that left-wing position as well, because we have found a free agent bargain in Jovan Cabral, a signing from Estrela in Portugal. And this guy is a top-tier talent. He used to be a wonder kid on FM back in the day, and now is going to be a super player for us. He ranks in the 99th percentile as an attacking winger and as a direct winger, 97th in a progressor and a box-to-box midfielder, and he's going to be our left winger, which shows he has successful pressures, but also really good key passes, etc. He is ranking in the 95th percentile and above in dribbles made, expected assists, key passes per 90, open play key passes per 90, crosses attempted, crosses completed, open play crosses and open play crosses completed. With them low drilling balls, that is going to be massive for us. He had 9 goal contributions in 32 games last season, grabbing a 7.27 average rating. And as mentioned, he's costed us absolutely nothing. Now, this guy used to be in the Sporting Academy and was a really top tier talent. Moved to Lazio, never quite impressed. Went back to Sporting, didn't impress. Has been at Estrella now on this game. 3 really good seasons, and we've bit a bullet. And on a free agent contract, I am so happy. He's consistent, he likes big matches, physically very good, great determination and flair, really good technicals. And compared to someone like Fukuwara, who was a real standout player for the first season and potentially the second as well, he is a much better player, especially going forward. Physically, speed, vision, attacking, all much better. And I think we've got ourselves a bargain, free agent, and worth up to 33 million straight away. So that's the left wing position sorted, I probably think, for a few years now. But what about the left back position? Someone we are trying to emulate how good Mbenge has been. Now, for me as a Manchester United fan, I didn't look much further than Bendito Mantato, a player which has been heavily linked with coming up into the Manchester United first team. He has signed his first professional contract, and he is a very attacking wing-back/winger. And I'm aware I'm moving him into a left-back position rather than left wing-back. But with 5 goal contributions in 11 games for Rotherham in League One, he was another player which you brought in on a free contract. Now, initially, you think that's not great, but based on his data, high dribbles, high assists, great chances created, unbelievable for an attacking wing-back, which is exactly what he is, ranking in the 96th percentile and as a winger in the 96th. So we really have got that left-hand side of Cabral and Mantato, pure speed, and pure attacking outlet. In terms of his stats on FM, he is just very, very quick and can dribble and can cross. He is very consistent, but he is just 19 years of age. And again, a free agent contract, which I absolutely love. So he might not be unbelievable. He might not be defensively fantastic, but 9, 9, and 9 in his 3 defensive stats is okay. He's a really good progressor. And I think as this wing back on attack, is going to do a really, really good job for us. Now, if that's not the case, I have also signed Joel Bagan from Cardiff, who cost us just £800,000. He was a bit part player for them last season, playing just 6 games, but did grab a 7 average rating. Was up for the transfer list for 800k. And he looks very, very well-rounded and slightly more experienced. So if needs be, we'll stick him in there as well. Now, in terms of our centre-backs, we are, of course, moving into one of the most physical and demanding leagues in the world. So these have got to be 2 absolute stars. Now, for my first signing, I have gone with Linus Wahlqvist, who is a 29-year-old Swedish 6-foot centre-back who has played 33 games and grabbed a 7.22. Also from Pogoń in Poland, where we signed Fukuwara from, where he's on loan at. So a club that we seem to have a pretty good developing relationship with. He just ranks very highly in every single defensive action, has a 92% in the Destroyer and 90% in the Reader. Also the same as the Reader and the midfield playlists, and in terms of aerial threat, 85th percentile as well. So a really well-rounded centre-back who isn't your standard FM signing. You don't often sign a 29-year-old centre-back, but I have done it here and I'm very, very happy with it as well. He has cost us £2.3 million. He's had 3 seasons above a 7.25 and then started this season on a 6.95 as well. Obviously joins us, great defensive stats and really, really well-rounded. Potential captain material as well, so a big fan of him. And for the person sitting next to him as well, I have gone with 26-year-old Austrian centre-back Dario Maresic, who also excels in defensive stats, but slightly younger at 26, but still bringing that experience. Now, he is an elite ball progressor, 95th percentile in passes completed and pass completion. Really good as a aerial threat defensively and a ball-playing defender as well. 97th percentile in possession 1, 93rd percentile in headers 1, and was, to be honest, just an absolute bargain and comes in to this centre-back role really, really well. Highly determined, great physical stats, and is very consistent, loves big matches, and he was a free contract as well. So you really can't go wrong with that signing. Now, of course, that is the starting 11 complete, but there is many other transfers we have made as well. We have spent £3.1 million overall. We have also made the 3 agent signing of Roman Didic to come in and be a central defensive midfielder for us. Musa Wagwe, another 3 agent as a wing-back on attack, potentially replacing Mbenge, but I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be able to do that, but he does have these stats too, with great pace and technical stats. And Sydney Van Hujic, another free agent contract, 26 years of age. Genuinely could be our striker. He could play over Buxa. This guy just grabbed 15 goal contributions in 28 games, a 7.04 average rating. Musa Wagwe, a 7.08 in the Greek top division. And Roman Didic from Ruk in Ukraine, grabbing a 7.3. The season after grabbing a 7.36. Another really good free agent signing at just 23 years of age. So they come in and are going to be really good rotational options for us in terms of outgoings. We sold Kian Coke-Smith for £1.3 million, which I think is a really good deal for us. He might not ever reach that potential, and we grabbed £1.3 million. Oscar Krinzel, remember the signing of £40,000, has joined Estrella for 725k after playing just 1 season, basically. So really good business from us there. Dennis Bossman, sadly not quite good enough, also leaving the club to join Cardiff for 500k. Josh Paschal leaving to Wrexham, 200k. He was great for 2 seasons, done a job, 4.2k. I mean, we just, 5,000 times that money on him, which is great. And Harvey Nibbs leaving to Braunschweig as well. So our squad is looking very different. But of course, this season is the big one. We are in the Premier Division and we are the worst team by quite some distance at 1,000 to 1. This is going to be a struggle. There is no part of me that thinks we are going to be able to get mid-table football or anything here. If you look at our ability of our players, even someone like Kanaya, who is a 4-star player for us, is considered a good championship player. So there is a very good chance that we get relegated again. But if we do stay up, it will be a miracle. It will be genuinely a miracle. It's possible. it's Moneyball. We've done some outrageous things with Moneyball. If you haven't seen the other Moneyball rebuilds on this channel, whether it's the Groningen one, which is a high edited 6-episode part, which was incredible, or back in the day when I rebuilt Copenhagen with over 80,000 views in it now on YouTube, what we can do with Moneyball and tactics that are very meta is incredible. And I hope this season is going to be as memorable as some of them. Now for me, this season is the perfect season to finish off part 1 of this rebuild, as we have had a fantastic Premier League campaign and our new signings are really starting to link up and prove that they were the right players to bring in. We went 1 up against Arsenal, eventually made it 1-1, but Cabral is going to grab his second of this game with that electric speed, finally breaking in to a top division in the world. He has been an unbelievable signing for us, and I don't quite know where we'd be without him. He has grabbed 17 goal contributions in 44 games, which is outrageously good and a lot better than I expected when signing a free agent released from a Portuguese club. It is unbelievable what he has done. Average rating just a 6.8 overall, but he has actually been a game changer. And the other player that has impressed me a whole bunch this season is number 1, Mantato, but number 2, Sydney van Hooijdonk. He has taken that starting striker position for his own with 17 goals in 38 games, doing Liam Delap level numbers when he was at Ipswich in the Premier League, or is this season currently, finishing on around 14 goals, 3 assists, 31 games. Similar sort of player, 6'3", very consistent, likes big matches, and has been a real revelation for us. A free agent signing member released from NAC Breda. But again, looking into the stats, I knew he'd be good in this division, and that's exactly what he was. And thanks to his goals, we are safe in the Premier League by just a singular point. 34 points, a negative 26 goal difference. But West Ham, Everton and Crystal Palace are going back down. And we are staying in the Premier League, which is massive. In this first part, we have transformed Reading financially. We have got brand new owners at the club for brand new board filled with Ron Martin as our chairperson. And in terms of our squad, we have brought in some high potential youngsters. Our young players through the academy have been brilliant, including a Mauritian David and a whole bunch of other players improving from the Moneyball scouting methods. And make sure you're coming back for part 2 of this Reading rebuild, where we now take Reading to being a European club. And how we do that in Moneyball, well, you're going to have to come back next time to find out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the in-depth Moneyball analysis. Thank you for watching again. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next time.